I've always had a special love for Shavuot. Not just because of the ice cream, but also not because of the ice cream, but because this is the holiday of Torah. And there's nothing more inspirational, more exasperating, and more energizing than Torah. But what exactly is Torah? Is Torah the 10 Commandments, which Cantor Mutlu chanted for us when we stood like our ancestors at Sinai, those verses that we received from God? Is Torah the 5 books of Moses, that scroll, as Wikipedia and dictionaries the world over would have us believe? Or is Torah the sum of the lessons we've learned and carry with us through life? Torah, which means teaching, from all the possible sources. Torah, of course, is all of these things and more. But it is also less. Our rabbinic tradition suggests to us that Torah can be small enough to be captured in just one verse. Hillel the Elder famously taught on one foot that all of Torah is contained in the concept, that which is hateful to you, do not do to another. Or in other words, love your neighbor as yourself. But 200 years later, the tradition continues, another rabbi disagreed. Ben Azai said the teaching that encapsulates all of Torah is, these are the generations of Adam. The generations of Adam, the ancestors that tie us together. Is this really the heart of Torah? Does this really matter so much? In fact, it does matter. It matters a great deal. Because we are not Athena springing into the world fully formed. We carry with us memories, experiences, and places, and most of all, people that shaped us into who we are today. We are shaped by joyous experiences, by victories and holidays and celebrations. We are also shaped by hard times, by losses, and by saying goodbye. Like our Jewish holidays, we live lives balanced in between our Hallel moments and our Yizkor moments. We have now arrived at a Yizkor moment. These are the generations of Adam. Who was your Adam, the long ago ancestor whose triumphs and struggles were lost in time? Who was the great-grandparent, the grandparent, the aunt, or the uncle whose name you might bear, whose story inspired you, or whose imperfections challenged you? Who was the parent that you now see reflected in the mirror when you turn quickly and catch just a glimpse? Who do you thank or blame for the best or the worst in yourself? Who was the teacher, the mentor, whose confidence in you outstripped even your own, who may not have gotten to see you achieve what they always knew you could? Who was the sibling, the child, the friend, whose path paralleled yours, who intersected your life in so many ways that it's no longer possible to identify two paths, but rather it's just one shared way, whose death felt like your own? When we come to Yizkor, We are given the space to remember all the generations we are products of, all the generations and all the people locked in our centers, inside our hearts. Who is at the center of your Torah, of your heart? What questions do they raise? What answers do they offer you? The Israeli poet Yehuda Amichai, who has a poem for every situation, every holiday, and every question, wrote a book of questions and answers. One of them, Eternal Window, suggests both questions and answers. In a garden, I once heard a song or an ancient blessing, and above the dark trees, a window is always lit in memory of the face that looked out of it. And that face, too, was in memory of another lit window. Amichai gives us an eternal cycle of question and answer, of light and dark, of presence and absence. The face that is both there and not there in the window, and the face they would have seen in their own window, and on and on and on to the first generation, back to Adam. We are each the results of generations of faces in windows, lit now only in memory. These are the generations of Adam. This is the meaning of Torah, as Ben Azai knew, because we are the generations of Adam, all of us. This is the heart of Torah, those we carry in our hearts.